Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday morning here. I am Anita DeFrancesco, Anita D, and we're here broadcasting live from Philadelphia, and you're on their Facebook page, Coaching Club Cafe Live. And my theme is Discover Joyous Love, and I'm the founder of Tantra Wisdom, and today our topic is going to be resilience. So I want to welcome you all here. Good morning again. You're listening to Coaching Club Live. Coaching Club Cafe Live, Coaching Club Cafe Live. And I'm Anita DeFrancesco, founder of Tantra Wisdom. And today what I want to talk to you about is resiliency and how to develop resiliency and what is resiliency and how to become resilient without losing the connection to your emotions. So being resilient means to bounce back from a situation that may have hurt you or a situation that may have set you off in a wrong area or a wrong time. So working with your emotions and becoming resilient is one of the key aspects here of opening up to learning how to adjust. And good morning, everyone. You're listening to Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D, and today is the last day of the year, or tomorrow is the last day of the year. So I just want to welcome everyone to the end of the year, and saying that, let's look back at this decade, reflecting back on what it is that we came through, what it is that we've learned. How far ahead have we gone in our lives? Are we a step ahead? Did we shift? Are we where we want to be? It's a whole decade. So we started the millennium 10 years ago. And here we are going to approach 2020 this week. Well, before we get into the topic of resiliency, my theme is Discover Joyous Love. And what I wanted to tell you about was a movie that I saw last night called The Joker, which is out in theaters now, starring Joaquin Phoenix is the main actor in this movie. And it is a wonderful, wonderful story talking about resilience. It's about a man who is mentally challenged, if you will, or mentally ill, and his disease involves him to laugh, have fits and bursts of laughter out in public for no reason. It's just part of the sickness that his brain or head was damaged as a child. As you watch the movie, you find out the bits and pieces of why he is that way. But what's interesting is that he takes on a resilient attitude of allowing himself to surpass and move through that pain. So he becomes resilient to find ways to cope and to deal with his laughter that is very embarrassing at times for him because it just happens naturally in public and he doesn't know what to do. So he becomes a comedian. He becomes what we call the Joker by the end of the film. And what I see it as, I see that the laughter is a metaphor for becoming resilient. And so the writers of this film, of the script actually, they focus in on this. Good morning, Randolph. Good morning. Well, we are here live broadcasting to you from Philadelphia. And of course, the Eagles did win yesterday. Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D. I'm the founder of Tantra Wisdom, Anita DeFrancesco. My theme is Discover Joyous Love. And today's topic is resiliency. And going back into talking about the movie The Joker last night, which the writers, I feel the whole laughter of his mental illness was a metaphor for resiliency and how Joaquin Phoenix pushed his way and moved his way through and surpassed this disease that he had of having fits of laughter in public, which he didn't know what to do with it. So he became by the end of the movie, he becomes the Joker. And throughout the movie, he's tries out being a comedian. So he becomes a comedian to find out the purpose of his life because he felt that being dead would make more sense than being alive. So he transformed himself into becoming something that would make him feel that he had a sensibility, a purpose for living. And because of his mental illness, which caused him to laugh in fits of laughter anywhere, and it was very annoying to people that were around him. But it's interesting how I looked at it as resiliency, how he became resilient to deal with his mental illness. And so it's really a good movie if you want to learn about resiliency, how he bounced back into becoming the human that he was, the human that we all are. So the topic being resiliency today. How do you add resiliency? How do you adding resiliency to your life? Becoming more, being stronger about things, bouncing back. And I don't mean avoiding your emotions, because we definitely need the emotions, and we don't want to become what we call armored or hardened. We still want to have that open heart, but if it means to protect yourself, and resiliency is not even about protecting yourself, it's just being able to pick up and continue on without taking a back seat for an incident that may have affected you or left you feeling down. So resiliency is about bouncing back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Let's see here. So keeping in mind that, again, it's not about losing the emotions. It's not about deflecting them. It's about staying connected to your heart as well each and every time that you feel that you need to help yourself. So let's give you some information that I have here. First of all, resiliency. One of the things about resiliency that I've learned is that, growing up in a city, in like a hood, so to speak, like Philadelphia, in the streets, you have to learn, growing up in the streets or living in the inner city, in the city proper, you have to learn how to be resilient, because there's a lot of crime that goes on in the inner cities. There's crime everywhere. But when you're walking in the streets, going places, taking the subway, and over the years, you start to learn to get like what we call like a hardened way about you. Some people take it so far as being defensive. But I wouldn't take it that far as being defensive, because then again, you're missing out on the emotions. You're giving up your emotion. What you want to do is protect yourself, but you become resilient to what's happening around you. You have to take the subway. You have to walk the streets. And I'm talking about back in the day when life wasn't, things are much better today. But back in the day when a woman couldn't get on the subway alone without, having fear of something happening. So you learn how to pick up, and you learn how to protect yourself, and you learn how to survive in that sense. So let me tell you about what resiliency is. I'll give you some pointers here. How to combat it, how to develop it, how to work with your own self by adapting and adjusting, stopping your negative thought cycles. So a lot of time when we have a lot of negativity and we're thinking all the time negatively about what's going to happen or the bad things that could happen from what we're doing, then this results in things that will happen. So if you think something bad will happen, it will happen. So what we want to do today is learn how to break the patterns of negative thinking, because they're stuffed away in your nervous system. And sometimes that voice comes up, that inner voice, and it tells you that you're not good. It's a judgment on yourself. So you're judging yourself, you're judging others, and you're not allowing yourself to live freely. You're not allowing yourself to be that free-spirited human being that you are. And one thing about that movie last night is Joaquin Phoenix, his dancing was like, he took on the character of Marcel Marceau. I don't know if you know who he was. Bip the Clown was one of his characters, Marcel Marceau. And he embodies this character in the movie, playing the Joker, the clown, because he is a clown at first before he becomes a comedian, and then he becomes the Joker. So there's many different forms of the Joker, the clown, or the comedian. And what's interesting is that he uses the body, embodies the fluid movement to move like Biff the Clown did, if you ever saw Marcel Marceau films. And he's allowing that to take over his body, becoming resilient, becoming the resilientness, but still having and holding on to the pleasure, still having and embodying the love and embodying the feeling, as well as being resilient too. Because by this point in the movie, he's running from the cops, but you'll have to see the movie because it gets, he's the killer clown in the movie. But it's interesting because it shows you how resilient he bounces back over and over and over again. Just such a wonderful film, and he surely will be up for some won an award, an Oscar. I know he's up for Screen Actors Guild award this year. So let's see. So breaking those patterns, and that's what Joaquin Phoenix did in that movie last night. He broke pattern after pattern, because you see him running, and then he's saving himself, and he's running, and he's becoming the comedian on a TV show, and then he's becoming a clown at a nursing home. So he's wearing these different hats, so to speak, but resiliently adapting, and almost as if, he wears different hats. So he was adjusting to his personality, and he was also running from the law in the movie. Okay, let's talk about worrying. Good morning, Randolph. You're listening to Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D, and it is Monday morning here, and we're the day before the last day of the year. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I'm a founder of Tantra Wisdom, and Anita DeFrancesco is my name there. And today, my theme with this whole project here that we're doing is discover joyous love. But right now, this morning, we're talking about resiliency and how you can be resilient for the new year. Let this be one of your projects this year, to learn how to be more resilient without giving up your emotion and feeling. You still have to have those feelings and work and process them through, because if you don't, you'll become hardened and armored, and then you'll have a shut heart, and then that creates disease in the body. So we want to break patterns. Now let's talk about worrying. Stop worrying. A lot of people have the worst outcome. That they worry because they think the worst outcome is the answer, and that's what's going to happen. But if you start to little by little let go of, the worrying about things or thinking things aren't going to be all right. If you have things set up right, again, you have to be a planner and organize your life. Of course, you're going to worry if you're buying things and you don't have the money. So, remember, be mindful about what's going on in your situation. If you make so much money, you can only have so many things, and you have to be mindful of that. But the key is discipline, and getting back to discipline. If you don't harness discipline and learn how to have that innateness about yourself, then you'll find yourself falling off the grid. And these are the things that we need to pay attention to about coming back in, embodying what's there, learning how to be disciplined in what it is, and accepting. So let's take a good morning breath here, folks. And we're here live from Philadelphia. I'm Anita D, Coaching Club Cafe Live. And Tantra Wisdom is my work, Anita DeFrancesco. And we have Randolph here listening and tuning in with us. And let's see, the Eagles, I believe they won. I saw it I heard them at the gym this morning already. So I didn't really get to watch it, but I was watching that movie, The Joker. It's out in the theaters now. Anyway, overcome your fear of failure, rejection. Okay, this is a big one. So you get rejected. You ask someone out on a date a few times and you get rejected. So this becomes, now you have this pit in your stomach, and you're just, low self-esteem by this point, low self-worth. And all of a sudden, this becomes you. You embody that. So those feelings, when you embody them, that's what you're going to be seen as. So you will be setting yourself up for more rejection. You will be setting yourself up for more failure. Say you have a job that you don't succeed as well as you'd like to succeed, or you take a test for some college boards or whatever, and you don't get exactly what it is that you want. And so you start to fall down, and you self-sabotage yourself, you judge yourself, you put yourself down. So this is what I mean about resilience, about bouncing back, just because you didn't pass that test, just because you didn't get that promotion on your job, just because he or she didn't go on a date with you when you asked this person out 100 times, or 100 people you've asked out and they all said no, bounce back from that. Become who you are. Then you will be seen as a different person. You will be seen as the truth. You will develop more. So allowing yourself to, I know it's hard because we can fall in that pit. But for a moment, take a breath. Allow yourself to come back and say, hey, I'm not all that bad just because I got turned down for something. I'm not really that bad, There's other things to come. And you have to have that light. You have to see that light because, as they say, the old saying, when one door closes, another will open. The door never closes. You just have to have the vision of all of the doors being open. It's which one you walk into. Which one are you walking into? It might not be the right one, so you walk back out and you go to the next. And this is the way life is. You have to set it up on your own terms, that is. Okay, so let's see. Good morning, Randolph. Anybody have any questions this morning? Remembering, now here's a saying, this too shall pass. Now, I hear a lot of people in the older generation, older than my generation, that is, and they say, oh, this too shall pass, if something is bad happening in their life. And like, in other words, time heals all wounds, and this too shall pass. And there is some meaning to this. There is some depthfulness to these sayings that, yes, so not allowing yourself to get anxiety over something, or not allowing yourself to go overboard and thinking the worst. Something happens and it's upsetting you and it's there, but it will pass. Time does heal all wounds. And this is what we need to learn how to do, how to awaken to these inner thoughts. The ability to think about a future where you will no longer be feeling so bad. Whatever you're struggling with helps you get through the difficult experiences. So, good morning, everyone out there in Facebook land. It's Monday morning, December 30th, and I'm broadcasting to you live from Philadelphia. I'm Anita D. at the Coaching Club Cafe Live, and I'm the founder of Tantra Wisdom, Anita DeFrancesco. Today I'm a little bit, not under the weather, just kind of, I'm all excited about New Year's, but I better kick into my resiliency and pick that up, because we have our highs and lows in life. But you always want to maintain a medium. You don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low. Because really, if you have the resiliency built in, and I had to have that as a child. I was very sick, so I had to become resilient because I wanted to live. I wanted to play with the other kids. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to have life. So part of me surviving from a childhood sickness involved resiliency. It was something that just came that I never really knew. But, when you grow up in the streets, and a lot of people grow up in the hood, and you have to learn to be resilient. You have to protect yourself. But we never want to give up feeling. Remember that. We always want to still stay connected to the emotion. Finding the silver linings in something. Turning things to positive, seeing the message. For example, something happens in your life and, say your boss cuts your hours out. You have a job, but they give you less hours. So now you're not making as much money. So now all of a sudden you become depressed, you become down on yourself, you're not good enough, you're not going to have the money to do the things you want to do. Well, so just turn that, look at the silver lining there. Turn that into something positive, that there might be another job out there that you can find that's part-time that can turn into be something more full-time. Or you can have more free time in your life to live and enjoy your freedom. So there's many things that if you turn your thoughts into positives and find that silver lining, there is something positive in everything. And everything that happens in your life, there is positive to it. It depends on the way you look at it. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? So if you're an optimist, everything is great. And one experience after the other leads to a better one. And this is the way I look at life. I look at life as if, not as if, as at life as is, and everything does have a meaning. Whatever is happening that isn't right, there's always, again, like I said, there's 10 doors in front of you, and they're all open. So you're finding the silver lining in things. There's always something better. Let's see here. Finding the benefits in life, learning from all, let's see what I have here. Okay. So learning, morning everyone. You're listening to Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D. I'm Anita DeFrancesco, founder of Tantra Wisdom. And today, my theme for this program is Discover Joyous Love, and my topic for today is resiliency, how to be resilient, especially like, for example, when people get down, like when the Eagles lose in Philadelphia, they're all crazed here about sports. I'm really not. I'm a Lakers fan. Actually, I'm an LA Lakers fan, but that's basketball. And I know LA doesn't really have a football team, or they didn't anyway when I was there. But my 20 years. But what I want to say is, people get down themselves. A team loses. Sports are a really good incentive to help you to be more competitive with your own self, to help you to get more vitality and have that, raring to go kind of thing. And it's also a thing about resiliency. So your team wins, you're feeling great. Your team loses. Should you be depressed for a week? I mean, some people do get down and out, especially if they bet or if they're, if there's money involved. But it's the same thing like a gambler. So again, always finding the silver lining in there. What is the silver lining? Are you growing from your experiences? Are you growing from whatever it is? Remember, life is not, it's not one, it's all different. It changes. There are grays, there are blacks, whites, grays. So it is not all one line. Nothing is perfect. So, okay, so here's, let's see what we say about the benefits. Shifting. So you want to have a different life. You want things in your life, but just not moving quick enough, huh? So you're down on yourself, or you're thinking negative, you're not good enough. Well, how do you make things change in your life? How do you do that? One way to do that is to create your own shifts. And how do you do that? You work on yourself. You do things. Again, surround yourself with positive thoughts. Find the silver lining in things. Help yourself learn about your patterns. Start to analyze. Be mindful. Be more disciplined. Come out and see that, hey, I'm repeating things. Why am I having the same patterns over and over? If you even know what patterns are. So I hope that my topic here is or a lot of these topics that I'm giving you are enlightening to let you know that, what a pattern is. Because again, a lot of people don't even know what self-esteem is or patterns, or at least they don't think that they are experiencing that, or they have ever had any unworthiness about themselves. What is unworthiness? So noticing, again, coming in and just being more connected to your self. So again, finding that shift and working on yourself to develop the shift, whatever it is, finding more relaxation, finding more yoga, finding more bicycle riding, something that's going to give you a connection to the horizon, a connection to the bigger picture, a connection to the greater world, to the globalization of things, to the environment, to the nature. Okay, let's see what else here. Using your negative emotions to propel you forward. And I always do this. The pit of feeling that you're nothing. So using the negative emotion to empower yourself. So they say that positive emotions and decrease the negative emotions. So how do you use negative emotions to propel you to become more forward? You have to go in and you have to dig yourself out. You have to go and look at that. You have to take it out of your head and put it in a plate like a dish and say, here is a negative emotion. This does not belong in me. But analyze it, dissect it, categorize your brain, your thinking. Take that negative emotion and see what you can diffuse with that. How can you allow that to become more prospective for you, more open, more alive. And from there, you can take these negative emotions and allow yourself to grow. Because the only way you grow in life is through the negative, through the sadness, through the anger that's sitting in the pit, way down in the lower chakra in the belly. To get to the truth, we have to tap into those emotions. Even as an actor, to be a good actor, you have to tap into those lower emotions. And those emotions that are negative, that propel you forward, will give you your character, will give you that shine on that you need. And so it is these emotions that help us grow. So don't think they're bad. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Randolph. We are live here, Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D, and I'm the founder of Tantra Wisdom, Anita DeFrancesco. Discover joyous love. And today my topic is resilience. So I'm going to give you just a little bit more, and then I'll let you all go and get ready for New Year's. How to overcome obstacles in your life. Yeah. It's like bouncing back like a ball. And when you're resilient, the whole thing with resiliency is that it's not only an emotional thing, but it is a physical thing as well. Bouncing back physically. Think about a sport. Look at the sport people, how resilient they have to be. They have to bounce back in the moment. Basketball players, football players especially. The beatings they take in the moment, like you want to just die sometimes. But they are resilient. And that's what resiliency is. So sports give us that encouragement to become better. And that's what sports are all about. They're encouraging to help you shape part of your being. You want to be like that. Gives you confidence. So being resilient not only emotionally or mentally, but being resilient physically. Now, I know that, I'm going to go skiing this Friday for the day at Elk Mountain. And, I'll have a few falls, but I'll be resilient to get right back up. Believe me, on those mountains, you definitely want to be resilient. So imagine a football coming at you and being huddled in by all of these other players and smothered. Yes, you want to be resilient. So think about it when you're having just someone's putting you down or criticizing you or condescending you or dismissing you or undermining you, and how you feel very low and very belittled. Right then and there, use that physical strength, use that sport in you to come back and still have your emotions. So, I think sports are a good example. Let's see, staying flexible, having an open mind, dormant areas of the brain, staying flexible, allow yourself to be alive. Don't be so linear in your thinking. Allow yourself to give a little, be a little bit more, taking a step out of your box. So opening the mind, being flexible. Go to the ocean, go to the desert. Live your life in a way where it's not so rigid, actually. And then we have learning the lessons. So when you have a negative experience, focusing on the positive. It's all about positive, but it's easier said than done. So hopefully that some of the examples that I'm giving you will help you. But so one psychologist would say, I'm a psychotherapist, and I'm reading something here right at this moment from another psychotherapist, feeling like the victim, asking yourself what you could do differently next time to have a better result. If you're a sensitive type of person, you may be vulnerable a lot of the time, and you may feel victimized even though you're not. Someone looks at you wrong or says something to you wrong, and then all of a sudden you feel, like you're caving in and you feel like the victim, and it wasn't really anything that big of a deal. But again, it all matters, and every little thing, everything has its moment and time. So we have to look at monitor every little thing that comes into our field, into our energy. And yes, if you could learn the lesson, if you could allow yourself. Now look, I know you're all smart out there. I know we all are computer brains these days. Learn that lesson. Allow yourself. If you need to seek out support, yes, we're here. We take phone calls. Coaching Club Cafe Live. I'm Anita D. You can give me a call. I can help you out. We have You just can go to the website there, and I think we're doing $2.99 a minute, which is pretty much a bargain. So good morning, Randolph. Good morning, everyone out there on Facebook land. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Anita D. at the Coaching Club Cafe Live, and I'm the founder of Tantra Wisdom, Anita DeFrancesco. And we have so much going on. It's the end of the decade. Are you feeling it? Are you starting to feel like you've just letting go of 10 years? And we have come 10 years, 10 whole years here in the millennium. Okay, so now let's see. Everything has a concern in life. The least little statement, the least little comment, the least little thing that you do, everything has a concern. And that is a good way to live your life, is taking concern for all of the things that you do, because you're important. You see, you're important. No one else but you. Staying connected, nurturing your relationships. So allow yourself to ask for help, accepting help. Some people refuse to receive help from anyone, or they think they have it all. This is your ego, again, controlling you, coming in, taking over, saying, I'm okay. I was helping someone the other day, and I thought maybe they were sort of had a cane, and I was helping this older woman, and she said, don't help me, I don't need your help. And I thought, well, I mean, not because I wanted to be helpful, but I just wish that she would have received the gifts of love in that sense, or at least allow herself to receive help. Because again, that shows to me that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to receive the love. And getting into the Tantra wisdom, my work, a lot of couples, they feel they don't know how to receive. So only one receives in the relationship. And this can cause a problem at some point later on. So allowing yourself, opening yourself up to receive and not feeling like it's a bad thing. Even in yoga, when I teach yoga, and sometimes I give a student a block, which right now my phone is on one of those yoga blocks, Iyengar yoga. And I'll tell you the truth, there's such a difference with the East Coast and the West Coast people. I notice when I'm in Los Angeles teaching yoga, my students are very open and receiving to, like, if I come to them and give them a block, they want me to stand there for an hour with them and instruct them. Well, that's called receiving, somebody who really honors themselves and want to, accept the help that you're offering them. But I noticed one time I was teaching yoga here in the East Coast, and a student said, I'm 70. How dare you come near me and position my body? I can do it. I'm not old or anything, and that wasn't what I was insinuating. I just wanted to make the proper adjustment that we would do in a yoga. So again, going into the ego and not receiving or accepting. So that means you're not staying connected. That's a part of it. Nurturing your relationships, friends, family. So allowing yourself to accept. Resilient people have at least one or two people in their lives that they can turn to for support. I have Randolph here. I'm resilient. Let me see who else I have in my life that's going to be my supportive friend. I have some people, but people, again, in this day and age, they're just, in this millennium, actually, people change so quickly, and then it's sometimes you really can't count on. You have to come back to yourself and count on yourself mostly. So we're not in a monochromatic world, there's diversity, there's a lot of different things. We have to be diverse in our thinking, in our actions, and what we're doing, and continue opening up. So let's see here. If anyone has any questions or comments, I'm Anita D, Coaching Club Cafe Live, and I'm broadcasting to you live from Philadelphia. My work is Tantra Wisdom, Anita DeFrancesco, and we are at the end of the year. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and I just want to wish everyone a very joyous New Year's Eve, ending this 10 years, coming into the new year, 2020 it will be, and keeping that 2020 vision open and alive. Your 2020 vision is there. And for no moments at all, do not compromise your liberty. Otherwise, you will lose your resiliency. Do not compromise your liberty, your freedom, because that resiliency can be taken in a moment. So learning how to bounce back is the key. And I can help you if you want to give me a call here at the Coaching Club Cafe Live. And we're $2.99 a minute, and we have many other coaches, counselors on board. And if you're listening to this this morning, you can give me a call. I'm available all week, even if it is New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. Okay, everyone, I just want to, if anyone has any questions or comments, I'm going to wrap this up right now. And I want to thank everyone. And I want to thank Randolph Pitts for tuning in here, and everyone else that is here enjoying this very early morning broadcast. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year! Happy New Year!